Hey guys, what is up? So this week we wanted to do another car talk because it seems like we are always in this car, but we love it because it gives us a chance to make videos and go make money too. So last week we talked to you about some myths when selling a home, some advice you might have heard that probably shouldn't follow. So this week we thought we would take a little turn and talk to you about buying a home and some
flip side of things.
Yeah, some mistakes that you might not want to make and kind of help you guys educate you whenever you are considering buying your first home. We actually got this from a article in Trulia.
Shout out to Trulia.
Yeah, shout out Trulia.
Yeah.
We will
link
below. The article below. So
check it out. If you don't want to hear our voices, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that, because look at the hand movements that I do. I know you realize
and the face.
Thank you.
Come on. So we are going to talk about some 7 mistakes that we picked out from the article that we thought would help you guys the best, and just give you guys some tips and tell you how to
enjoy the video. All right, so tip number 1. Don't get too emotionally attached. I know, trust me guys, like it's a big expense. Probably for most of you, the biggest expense that you've ever had in your entire life to this point. But try not to get too emotionally attached, because sometimes what that can do is it can make you make decisions that you normally wouldn't make in your right mind. And remember, there are a lot of homes out there. So if you do lose out on that one, I promise, may just take a little bit more looking, something else will come onto the market that'll suit you just the same, if not better.
I feel like that could also be applied for your dating life. Not for you.
Not us, though.
Okay, so tip number 2 is don't rely on finding that perfect home yourself. We are real estate agents, and that's kind of what we're here for. It's kind of like, would you look to WebMD to diagnose yourself for an illness, or would you go to a doctor? Some people might go to WebMD, but we know that that can just lead to bad things. Your agent may also know of what we call pocket listings, which are homes that aren't on the market yet, but are going to be very soon. And your agent can probably give you some background information about the home that you're looking at that you may not know from a site like Trulia or Zillow.
Absolutely. Which is kind of a good segue right into tip number 3, which is don't go directly to the listing agent. Which, trust me, as we list homes, which we have a couple coming up, we would love for buyers to reach out to us. But I will tell you, as a listing agent, that listing agent is going to work directly on behalf of the seller, which is awesome. I mean, it makes everything fair. But what you're going to want is somebody to work directly on behalf of you and handle all that negotiating back and forth and make sure you're getting the best deal possible. So always try to have somebody that represents you personally.
And there's no cost to you at all to use a realtor when purchasing a home.
No.
Okay, so tip number 4 is assuming that you have no rules to follow as a homeowner. Many of us, if you are buying your home for the first time, you're either getting out of your parents' house or you are breaking the chains of renting and getting away from a landlord. While you do have a lot more freedom when owning a home, there are some things that you need to consider, such as if you buy a home within a community, they may have deed restrictions. Your realtor can help you find what those restrictions are, what covenants there are, and what rules you may need to follow depending on what home you choose.
All right, guys, so tip number 5, not getting pre-approved for your loan prior to going and checking out homes. We see this a lot, and sometimes it can be a little bit detrimental. So before you go out and you even start looking, it's highly encouraged that you go and talk to a lender. This way you're going to know exactly what you can afford, and you're not going to be wasting your time in the sense of going and looking at a bunch of homes and finding that perfect home, but then not being able to do anything about it. Because many times, as we run into, whenever you submit a contract, whenever you submit your offer, a seller looks at that and wants to see how serious you are. And a pre-approval is going to prove just how serious you are.
Yes.
And most of the time will be accompanied by an exception. So before going out and before making that step, because you don't want to lose out on a chance for your perfect home, be sure to go talk to your lender about getting a pre-approval and get everything
So
wrong.
that brings us to tip number 6, not saving enough money. Many buyers, when they think of purchasing a home, the only thing that pops in their head is saving for the down payment. And that is a great feat if you've saved up money for your
Absolutely.
down payment. However, it can kind of just be the tip of the iceberg. Now, depending on what kind of loan program you get, if it's a USDA or a VA loan, of course, that's a zero money down. And then there's an FHA, which have a lower cost, so don't be too afraid. However, there are other things, other costs that come with purchasing a home, such as an inspection fee, which we did do a video with Josh Archer explaining.
Great video.
Yeah, explaining why it's important to have an inspection. There are also appraisal fees, survey fees, things like that. And then once you get to the closing table, you may be responsible for some closing costs if not covered by your lender or the seller.
Absolutely. All right, guys. And last but not least, I'm getting real close to the camera for this one. Tip number 7. Always be sure to check out your homeowner's insurance. We live in beautiful Florida. We got a lot of beaches. We got a lot of lakes. And that's probably where we're all wanting to live one day, right? Because I would love to live on the lake. But
I'd love to live on the beach.
Yeah, we'll meet in the middle,
yeah.
somewhere, a lake on a beach. Anyways, these a lot of times can have additional costs that come along with them as far as your homeowner's insurance goes, and flood zones. Always watch with the flood zones because there are some areas that's also going to increase your insurance payments. So just be cognitive of that. That kind of catapults off of, some of the additional fees. And these are going to be things that your realtor should be explaining to you. And these are questions that you need to ask if they do forget, because that can come into effect in the long run. Because who wants to be paying like totally high insurance costs? Okay. So in conclusion, because we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up. Thanks so much for viewing us. We love you guys sharing us. Tell anybody you know.
Tag a friend.
Yes.
Share the post.
Absolutely. Go check out our Facebook page. We also have a YouTube page. We got our Twitter account. We got an Instagram. We're trying to get as social as we possibly can. And of course, if you have anyone at all, mom, dad, grandparents,
neighbor,
cat, not a cat.
coworker.
I'm kidding.
I can't sell cats.
No.
He's allergic.
Yeah, we can sell dogs though. No, kidding. Anyways, if you have anyone who is looking to buy or sell a home, please redirect them our way. That would help us out a ton. Thank you guys.